Well, good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome to my Woodturning Live. You can say my name's Dan, and today basically I've jumped on and I've actually turned the orientation of the video back to vertical because I did have an experimentation basically on my last live, and when I actually uploaded the video from the live, the actual broadcast was sideways. So I've learned my lesson there. But today basically I've got a lovely piece of oak on the lathe today. It's only a small piece of side grain oak. It's a little bit misshapen, but we'll see how we get on with it today. And as you can see, I've had a bit of a change around in the workshop. Still a bit more work to do, but again, just trying to create some more space and trying to make it a bit more efficient when actually doing my wood turning. But if anybody joins the live today and they do get interested in anything that I'm doing here today, don't forget to drop any questions, comments, or likes, subscribers, all that kind of thing. Helps the live out massively. But I hope you're all having a great start to the week. And yeah, today we've got the piece of oak on here today. Before we actually get it going and start moving this thing around, lock the headstock. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to measure the piece just to get a good indication of how much material I'm working with. So, but this is actually 23¼ centimeters, which is just over 9 inches. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring this up. I'm just going to measure the back end of it. So we're talking 2¼ inches, which gives me a little bit of room to work with. So, but as you can see, the reason why I've got curtains in the background is because I've got property opposite my little workshop here, and I don't particularly want them eyeballing in. So, but yeah, I was going to say we're going to see how we get on today. I am working on the Coronat Herald here today, so and yeah, it's a great lathe, and it's just under 1 kilowatt in power, so it's got quite a bit of power to be able to turn this timber. So what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to turn this into another little decorative little piece, and hopefully it'll go towards my collection. Now, as you can see in the background, I've got stacks and stacks and stacks of bowls. So basically, I'm just trying to add to the collection, and hopefully, if anybody's interested in my work later on this year, I'm considering putting a website together and seeing if anybody's interested in actually taking a look. So before we begin, bit of PPE just to protect my face, just to protect any wood chips coming off. But again, just having a good look at it, see how this piece is behaving. But we're going to speed this thing up now, and we're going to try and make some cuts. I could take the corners off to make things a little bit easier, but again, I thought, well, let's just crack on. So again, how many people got in the room? 43 already. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. And say I'm a wood turner based in Wales in the UK, and I make an awful lot of stuff on this lathe. So, but again, we're going to get up to speed. We've got 480 revs there, okay? 480. 58 people in the room, climbing up. Welcome everybody. Anybody's got any questions? Drop them in the comment section below. Anybody likes, comments, subscribers, any of that kind of thing, massively helps the live out. So, but yeah, we're going to crack on. My main object at the moment is to remove all that bark, okay? Just to get rid of all that bark. And say, is the lighting okay in here? I'm going to say, hopefully I'm going to try and change that in the next matter of weeks. So just to try and make it a bit lighter, brighter kind of thing, really. But yeah, I was going to say, as you can see, I'm just working through, just keep an eye on the timber, just basically to make sure there's no cracks. And say, because if there's any cracked wood on the lathe, again, you're not going to create wood, sawdust, okay? You're just going to create big chunks of wood coming off, flying off the lathe, which is incredibly dangerous. But again, I was going to say, I've been wood turning for a good couple of years now, and yeah, I enjoy the process of turning a piece of what we could class as firewood. Hi there, bro. Welcome to the live. I like to take a piece of timber which could be classed as firewood and turn it into something practical, something useful. Thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. I do love wood turning. I think it's a great kind of skill to have. So, at the moment I'm going to speed back. I'm going to speed up even more. Okay. You get to about 600 RPM, revolutions per minute. Okay. Again, now we're spinning. Okay. Now we're definitely spinning. Right, 49 people in the room, 3 likes already. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Right, so as you can see, they've gone from those flat edges, okay, because they were flat, okay, and what I've done now, I've created this natural curve, okay, which is basically what we want when creating our bowls, etc. Let me give you a good idea. So basically, this is curve which I'm creating at the moment, okay. This is what I'm trying to achieve here, okay. So again, it's a beehive effect bowl. So you can see this was a piece of ash, okay, British ash, and ash is always a big giveaway, okay, because ash is very, the grain patterns really stand out. It's quite swirly. So again, trying to not get in those shadows. But yeah, it's going to say ash is quite dense. It's quite hard, very similar to oak. But the thing is, when we're turning ash, you've got to make sure that your tools remain sharp at all times, okay? And it takes quite a lot of regular sharpening, so which I do during the live as well. So, but yeah, beehive bowls, I do platters, vases, pens, key rings, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, it's all. If it goes on the lathe and it fits on the lathe and it's not cracked or damaged or whatever, then basically I'll turn it into something. Okay, it's not a massive piece. Okay, it will get a lot smaller as we turn this piece of oak. And as you can see, I've created that bevel now, that curve, okay, which is what I'm looking for. What I'm going to try to achieve now, I've got this patch of bark, okay, and I've got it on this side also, okay, so this side and this side, okay. So what I'd like to do is come in, okay, and it's what we classify as a push cut, okay. Push cut is basically when you're pushing away, okay, keeping away from yourself, okay. So again, you can come towards us. It's a shear cut, okay, pull cut. I was going to say, pull cuts are usually for kind of working on the inside sometimes. It depends on what we're trying to achieve, etc. So, and the look we're going for. At the moment, I do have some of these tool marks in there, which I'm not too concerned about right now because the 1/2 inch bowl gouge is more for roughing out, okay? It's a bowl gouge, okay? And it's good for removing quite a lot of timber very, very quickly. So, but again, I'll swap over to a smaller flute as we progress really, but at the moment, again, I just want to remove this area and this area, okay. I'm not too concerned about the two ends now. So what we'll do now is try and remove this bark, and it's going to take a little bit of work because it's quite chunky. Oak is very distinctive, okay. It's got quite a chunky looking bark, and I was going to say, but not so much this side, but this side definitely is. But I've got actually another wood delivery on the way this afternoon, which I'm really looking forward to receiving. So this piece here, the lathe, okay, is the banjo, okay. This is the tool rest, okay. So what it's sitting on here is the bed. So I can unlock it, okay, and I can move it where I want, okay. So what I want to try and do is bring it round, okay. And now I'm on a 45 degree angle. And the reason why I've moved it there is because basically I don't want to run off the end of that tool rest, okay, because that'd be incredibly dangerous. So again, just want to make sure before we start the lathe, give it a turn, make sure it's not hitting anything. And say, because if it is, it's not going to spin, okay. So just make sure we've got clear room around that tool rest. Lock that banjo, can't move, okay? It's not going to move now. So again, let's focus on getting this wood turned and get it turned into something more practical and useful, okay? Could be a little consort bowl. Consort bowls are only small, okay? They're like key bowls. So, but yeah, I'm going to crack on with 600 RPM still, and we're going to try and bring in some push cuts. See how it's gone from oval to round, okay? And that's what we're trying to achieve, okay? We're trying to get that bowl effect, okay? That round bowl. Like I said at the beginning of the live, I tried to turn the phone the other way, trying to get a better orientation and better view of what I was doing. And unfortunately, actually, when I uploaded the video, it came out sideways. So I've learned my lesson not to do that. So I do a lot of live wood turning, just to showcase and demonstrate kind of how things are made on the lathe, etc. If you are interested in wood turning or want to go out there and have a go, definitely speak to a reputable wood turner from your local area, because it's there's an awful lot of things to take into consideration, and the most important thing is your safety. Okay, safety is paramount. Since if that comes off, or you get your hand caught or whatever, you're going to hurt yourself. Okay, you can hurt yourself a lot. So, but again, it's going to say it's. I went out there and I had a lesson from a professional wood turner just once. Okay, and that was enough for me to just be able to pick up things like the lathe, understanding what parts of the lathe do what, things like tool placement, technique, okay, because you can't just chuck a piece of timber on the lathe and just hope for the best, okay, because you've got to have a bit of an understanding, okay, and some people take to it like a fish in water, some people don't, okay, so it's always good to go and speak to someone who can literally give you a good idea, because then you can start asking questions about things like, what do I want to turn, what do I want a pen, a platter, a vase, a bowl, epoxy, that kind of thing really. So but yeah, I was going to say we're cracking on. I was going to say we've got the bowl shape, okay, but as you can see we've still got this bark on here, so but it is going to get a lot smaller. So again, I'm just taking my time, I'm not being too aggressive and say, but once you start rushing on a lathe, okay, that's when you make mistakes, okay, that's when you can make mistakes, and that is imperative that you don't rush, okay, because again, these are not toys, okay, these are still pieces of machinery. And again, I was going to say, we're going to crack on. So I'm looking at this area now. Again, I've got the shape. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this 1/2 inch bowl gouge and pop it down. And get a smaller one, okay? And the reason it's smaller is because the profile on the flute is the same as the 1/2 inch, okay? This is a 3/8 bowl gouge, okay? So not smaller. But this is more tidying up rather than taking big chunks of pieces of wood off. So, but again, just want to focus on now cleaning this up, removing this bark, and again, getting into some kind of form, okay, is what we call it, our shape, our form. And then once we've got our form and our shape, that's when we can start thinking about putting the foot on, etc., flipping it round, and then basically we can hollow it out, and then we've got our practical bowl. But the cleaner the cuts we make, the faster the lathe spins, the cleaner the cuts, okay? And say the slower it is, you can end up with lots and lots of ridges in it, and that's the last thing you want. So, but again, I hope you're all enjoying the live. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't forget it is free, and you'll be notified every single time I jump on. And I turn lots of stuff, okay? Lots of stuff. So if you'd like to support the channel, it is much appreciated. And yeah, it's going to say we're going to crack on. We're going to crack on. We'll speed up again. 711 reps. I could actually leave that lip there and have a lip on the bowl, but on this piece, because it's just a small bowl, I'm going to remove it. Okay, you stop and stand at the lathe, okay, just to keep an eye on the piece, okay, just to get a good indication of where we need to make these cuts, okay. And you can see these pieces of bark are a lot smaller, okay. That's what we call in Wales tipping bark, just a little bit, okay. So again, we've only got this section here to remove now, which will be taken out very easily. Now, I showed you a push cut coming from the base of the bowl out, okay. And because it's sitting here on this curve, okay, this curve I created, okay, what I want to do is I'm going to unlock that banjo, unlock the tool rest, and come at it face on, okay, face on. And the reason for that, because when I showed you the push cut before, it's coming this way, okay. So what I'd like to do now is come back from this side, okay, and I'm going to do a push cut from there. I'm going to come around, okay. You can say, and the most important thing is this bevel, okay, on the end of the bowl gouge, okay, is always maintain contact with the wood, okay. No point stabbing it, okay. You can say, keep that bevel on the wood, and as you basically support the bowl gouge with your body weight, you can come around and basically it will cut the wood, okay, it will cut. So I do have an awful lot of wood turners that follow me on YouTube, and an awful lot of people who have never seen wood turning or want to try and just see how it's done, etc. But again, I to come on here and do a tutorial. It's just basically me demonstrating and showing you exactly how I do my wood turning. Lots of other wood turners have many other ways of perfecting their pieces, etc. But this is how I do it, okay? That's how I do it. Hi Winfred. Welcome to the live, buddy. But yeah, I'm in my little workshop here, and basically, yeah, I'm going to turn this into a nice practical little piece. So again, I'm going to come around and try and push this off, and as it's coming around I should remove this, okay, because it's coming towards me, okay. So again, when you think you're just cutting one area, you're not, you're cutting all the way around the piece, okay. So again, let's crack on, speed up. See, this doesn't remove loads of material, okay? This is just tidying up, okay? Tidying up. Again, I don't want to just keep on going and going and going and going at it, because you could remove all the bark and just make the piece even smaller and smaller and smaller. And we don't want to do that. Okay, now I'm back on that bottom area again, okay? So again, we've practically removed it here. A little bit of tidying up to do there, not much. As you can see with oak, it's very distinctive, because the darker tan of the oak, okay, is the heart of the wood, okay, it's the heart of the oak. And then you get this white area, which it should be, okay, we don't seem to have much white oak. You'll have a white area. Have I got any oak up there? Probably somewhere. Ooh, let's have a look. So basically, you can see there's one with a big crack running through it. See, it needs a bit of DIY. Okay, this area here, this white area. Okay, is the white oak, and then we've got the tan. Okay, at the heart of the wood. Quite easily fill this in with some wood glue, some sawdust. Put it back in, grip it again, and then basically just sand it back off. So easy repair. Easy repair. Right, let's crack on. So again, I've just got this area I want to concentrate on here, okay? Just this area here. So you all know that I'm from Wales. Where are you all from? I was going to say, are you in the UK? Are you in Europe? I've got people from Japan, from the Netherlands, from the Middle East, all over the world. I watch my Woodturning, so it's quite interesting. So, but let's crack on. In fact, that is too high. There we are. Okay, 125 people in the room. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. See, right, we've only got that little area. I'm going to leave it on there and then sand it off, but I've done that before, and it's a bit of a pain. So I'd rather remove it now while it's still there, okay? And it's much easier to focus on the next stage of the process. So, which we'll get into very, very shortly. I am literally 5 minutes away from hollowing this thing out. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to speed up again, okay? Go to 900 RPM. Welcome, Jose. Welcome to the live, buddy. Somebody once asked in my live, have I ever actually been hurt while wood turning? And yes, I have. Yes, I have. By being, well, I've got too complacent basically. And there's a tiny piece of wood right on the end, on the lip here, okay? And what I did was, I didn't have my PPE on, okay? And I thought, this won't take me 2 minutes. This won't take me 2 minutes. I'll just whack the lathe on, I'll just nip that off. And as I did it, the little lip, which was basically on the edge of the piece, actually shot me right in the eye and left me with a bloodshot eye for about a week. So, and a lot of my friends and family say, you look like a stormtrooper with this thing on. I'd rather look like a stormtrooper than get hurt like that again. So, but again, that patch is tiny, okay? It's coming off as we speak now. It's coming off in the next few cuts, not many. And I'll show you what the next part of the process is, okay? So yeah, I'd rather look like a stormtrooper than get hurt. I'm going to say, but if you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't forget to support the channel. It's free. I set the channel up end of last year. I think it was October, November time. And then just before Christmas, I hit over 3,000 subscribers within 3 months. So, because you know when you're trying to learn something and you start watching YouTube videos and you try to get an understanding and everyone's talking jargon to you and it doesn't make any sense. And but yeah, and literally I was trying to learn as much as possible. And hi Ed, welcome to the live. Yeah, I was trying to learn as much as possible, and I just didn't understand a lot of the terminology and a lot of the kind of like words used and this, that and the other, and yeah, and I found it quite overwhelming. So I thought I'd jump on and try and make put things in layman's terms, try and make it sound as easy as possible, really, so people don't go out there and get misinformed or taking the wrong information, etc. So, but again, you say my name's Dan, for anybody who's new to the life, and yeah, I'm a progressive wood turner, as they call it. Right, okay, let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look. So we've got our shape now, look, we've got our shape, okay? It's our bowl shape. And that's it, okay? All the bark seems to have gone apart from that lip area. Alright, there. Alright, 1 second. Right, okay, that should be in its form, okay? Yeah, okay, we've got our shape, okay, we've got our bowl shape. It's not massive, okay, but it's tidy enough. Right, what I want to do is I want to come round the corner and I just want to grab a couple of tools which I'm going to need for the next process, okay? So, I'm going to pop those down there. There. Right, the next tool I'm going to use, okay, it's made of carbon steel, okay, a square tip of carbide, which is just as sharp as my bowl gouges, okay, just as sharp. You sharpen a bowl gouge, you replace these little tips, okay, the cheapest chips to replace. So, what I want to do now is basically, to this bowl here, okay, this bottom piece, okay, tenon, okay, tenon. And what I'm trying to do is put a tenon on the bottom of this, okay. The way I do that is using one of these, and then just behind the tenon is the foot, okay. So when I remove the tenon after the piece is finished, it'll have a base to sit on, okay. You can see, and that's that look we're going for. Same look here, okay. It's very similar, okay. You following along? I'm gonna say it's right. Let's crack on. I'm coming back onto it face value, okay? Back onto it. So again, what I want to try and do now is use this square tip, create that tenon, create that foot, and then I'm going to feather it back in, okay? Hi there, buddy. Right. Tenon, foot. Okay. Now what I've done there is I wouldn't say ruined the form, because basically what I've done is I've created this tenon, okay, which could have been cleaner. I've created that foot. It's left me with a flat edge, okay. And what I want it to do is blend that back in, okay, blend it back into the piece, okay, because there's no point having flat edges because it just looks like a dog bowl, okay, and I don't want to make a dog bowl. So what I'm going to do is going to take this 3/8 back, okay, and I'm going to literally blend that back into the piece, okay, by removing that flat edge, okay, because I don't want that. It's not, as they say, it's not very aesthetically pleasing to the eye, is what they call it. So, but again, and then I'll show you what I'll do to the tenon. just gently. And simple as that, okay? Simple as that. 140 people in the room. Welcome everybody. Okay, it's jumping up and down now, it's fluctuating. So again, I've got that flow back now, look. Okay, right, so the next thing I want to do is put these down. Now with the bowl gouge I showed you before, okay, it's got that profile on it, okay, same as my 3/8 bowl gouge, okay. This one, hi there, welcome to the live. This one's got a totally different profile to it, okay, and this is what we classify as a skew, okay, skew, S-K-E-W. Now you can see this big chunk of steel here, okay. Now when I actually take this off the lathe, what I want to do is take this tenon, put it into the jaws, okay, of this chuck. But the issue I have is the jaws have got a dovetail fitting, okay, it's got a dovetail. And at the moment, the tenon doesn't have dovetail. So it's very easy to create a dovetail. You basically come in with your point and literally, and I'll create a dovetail just on the back of that tenon so it actually grips the wood quite comfortably, okay. And then once you've done that, flip it around, okay? And then you get a good idea of basically how it's been supported, okay? So that, okay? That's simple, okay? That's simple. So take this big looking anchor looking key, okay? Chuck key, lock it, okay, so it doesn't spin. And in it goes. Move out of the way. As you can see, there's a faceplate, okay? Faceplate. And literally you've got two rings, okay? You've got the external ring, which fits over the jaws. And the internal ring, okay, is what the jaws sit in, okay? And then we expand the jaws open, okay? So it literally goes nowhere then, okay? We've got a little bowl, okay? Our consort bowl, okay? We've got the shape. So, what I want to try and do now is, see the jaws, tenon, in, okay? Shut them. So again, I'm gripping that tenon now, okay? And you don't want to over tighten it, okay? You don't ever want to over tighten this damn thing, because if you do over tighten it, you can rip the fibres in the wood, okay? And if you rip the fibres in the wood, the tenon can snap off, and then basically your bolts will come flying, okay? And I don't want that. So again, take the drill driver, because otherwise we'll be here all day. There's 1-inch screws fitting through that piece. So basically you've got to be mindful not to hit the screws when you're actually turning into the bowl, okay? Otherwise it's going to turn into a right mess. It turns into a right mess. But yeah, I'd make all sorts of stuff. I make all sorts of stuff on here. And but yeah, my whole purpose of jumping on YouTube is just to give people an understanding of how this stuff's done, okay? As you can see, I've got that shape now, okay? And obviously the bowl is not even anywhere near hollowing stage, okay? So what I'd like to do now is lock the banjo, lock the tool rest. And so at the moment, literally, I could come in with a carbide and come into it literally vertical and cut. Give you a good idea. Ooh, lock it. Carbide is very lots of wood's in the start on these, okay? Because they're easy to use, okay? Okay, quite easy. Okay, they will cut. With a bowl gouge, it's different, okay? Because you don't come into it this way, okay? Like I did show you with the carbide, okay? You come into it more. Ooh, that's all. A little bit low. And what I want to try and do is just get under centre, just under centre. I'm going to say, because like I said, I was a bit low there. I'm going to say, I tried to slip. See, it's still slipping, okay? Yeah, as close as possible, okay, close as possible. Again, we're coming in. See the flute now is pointing that way towards you, okay? So and we go in basically. Not rushing, okay? Not rushing, just taking my time. Making sure that bevel stays on the wood, okay? Got to. As you see, I'm not gripping this, okay? I'm not. I'm just supporting it, okay? On the tool rest. You grip it and you get a catch inside there, you're going to hurt your hands, okay? Okay, so we're making the bowl now, okay? And you're talking about the shear cut, okay? Come towards me. Some things, when I jump on a lathe, sometimes it doesn't go to plan, okay? Sometimes it won't go to plan. Sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes things go wrong, and yeah, it just depends on how the wood behaves, or the piece behaves on the lathe. And it does happen, happens to me, happens to many other experienced wood turners, because like I said, it's not so much about your technique or your tool placement. And there's no two types of timber that'll behave the same, okay? So I can take a piece of ash, a piece of oak, a piece of elm, a piece of beech, and every single one of those pieces of wood will behave differently. Some will be quite hard to turn. So ash is very, very dense, very hard. And like I said before, it takes a bit of work to get that stuff turned, because again, you've got to take extremely sharp tools, and again, you've got to sharpen throughout, otherwise they'll turn blunt. And there's no way you're going to wood turn with blunt tools, because it's not going to cut anything, okay? All it's going to do is bounce on the timber, okay? And because the piece is spinning towards me, okay? Literally, if you've got blunt tools, it's going to kick the tool off, okay? And if it's spinning towards me and it kicks it off, okay, it's coming towards me, okay? It's going to try and go for my face. So again, always ensure sharp tools. Sharp tools. Just having a good look at it now. This will be quite interesting when it's turned. There's a little bit gammy in areas, but we can sort that out. We're going to turn that down just a little tad. And you can tell it's centered, because if it's not centered and it's not balanced, the piece will fluctuate, okay? The piece will bounce around it and that chuck, and it doesn't look like it's actually sitting properly. Hi RG, welcome buddy. I've had a bit of a shufty round in the workshop, RG. As you can see, I've got my bandsaw here. So it was the other side of the workshop, and yeah, it was in the way. So I got it back into a place where it's a bit more practical, a bit more useful. Okay. Fill that rim out. And just round piece of carbide, okay? Come in. And feather that round, okay? just going to be mindful, okay, of depth, okay, because you could quite easily go through the bottom of that, okay, and come out the other end, okay, and it's happened to us many wood turners before, and yeah, it's not great. It's not great because you can spend all that time wood turning a beautiful piece and then ruin it right at the very last moment. So, what we class as a funnel. Even me, even the experienced wood turners, we all do it from time to time, and it's easily done, easily done. In the sayings, and I've screamed more than once when I've done it. So, but again, I've got this little gammy area up here, which I'm a little bit mindful of. Okay, I'm not too concerned about it, but I am mindful because even though it's still quite dense, I don't even know what the moisture content of this piece is actually, and that's 14%. It's not too bad. Yeah, 14.1. So again, if it's too wet, and there's lots of moisture in the piece, once you've turned it, basically it'll start warping. Okay, it'll start moving around, and it's likely to crack. So, hence with my other bowl that I turned the other day, that cracked. And yeah, I was going to say sometimes it's just good to get something on a lathe. We've got some green wood that's recently been felled. So, but yeah, I've got an awful lot of wood. I've just actually had some birch arrive. So I'm literally, oh, Jose's back. Hi, Jose. Yeah, I've got some birch in the shed. I've got some beech. I've got some ash. I've got some oak, and I've also got some exotic woods in the workshop as well. So mango, wild mango, which I'm quite interested in turning, and then I've also got things like tanga, which is another African type of exotic wood. The only concern about those, if you've got lots and lots of ventilation, because if you haven't got lots and lots of ventilation and you breathe in that dust, it's going to make you feel like you've got a headache from another planet. So again, be very mindful. Not all woods are great to turn. Things like willow, awful to turn. So what I want to do is knock off that moisture meter before it drains my batteries. I'm going to take that square nose tip out because I've got that area here, okay, which is not annoying, but it's there. So we're going to get rid of it. I'm going to pull it down just enough to get rid of that annoying bit there. Again, straight on. Yeah, let's have a look. I'm actually on it. I'm actually on it. Okay, a couple more mil. Okay, just blending that rim back in. I could have that really flat rim, which is, it's not really kind of pleasing to the eye, so I tend to blend it back into the piece, okay? So it's still got that sweep, okay? Again, I don't want the flat edges, okay? So again, I'll come in, round, out. Probably got a little bit more room in there to go a little bit deeper, so I'm going to give it a bash. Give it a bash. Not much. Not much. Famous last words. one of the chaps on YouTube. He's a very good friend of mine, and yeah, Mike Holton, and he's a very well experienced woodturner who's very, very creative in his work. So I tend to kind of inspire me to get back on my lathe and get back on YouTube and kind of come back and make more content, etc. So, but again, those walls are absolutely fine. I don't want to go no thinner than that, basically. Otherwise, I'm at risk of either going through it or basically going through the bottom. So what I'm trying to do is move that away. At the moment, I've still got the sweeping curve, okay? So what I'm trying to do is remove this little raised area here, okay, which is like a little lump in the bottom, okay. It's good to have a good feel around it, look for any imperfections before you think about moving on. Because it's not until literally you've taken it off the lathe, you move your tenon, then you've done it. So, and if it's still sitting there, it's going to just annoy you, okay. There we are. There we are. Okay. Should have chosen a better piece to work on, to be honest, because this piece of oak it's gammy in areas, okay? Things like here, which I'll show you in a second, okay? And sometimes we can't tell until we've actually turned it. On the outside of it, it looked absolutely fine. When I got into it, it's more, yeah, a bit gammy. A little bit gammy. Right, what I'm looking for is a nice coarse grit. So I'm going to start off on an 80 grit. No, 600, I'll start to, oh, there we go, 80 grit. 80. There with me 1 second, folks. Apologies for the inconvenience. 20. 40. Why is it? I can find every single one of them, but not what I want. Because I've now just had a big shufty around the workshop and changed things and moved things. Yeah, I've just literally put things down and I'm like, down where I've got it. 80 grit, okay, 80 grit. So again, work on the outside, work on that rim, work on the inside, run through the grits, and literally we'll put a finish on, okay? We'll put a finish on. Yeah, it's 80. It's 20. Now these are great little bowls to get started on when starting to turn bowls. Something small, okay? They're not massive, I'm going to say, and it's not a huge piece of timber that you're working with, okay? Some of the bowls I have made are ginormous, and yeah, I wouldn't advise somebody who's just starting to turn bowls to turn a big piece, okay? Because again, like I said, there's techniques to it, okay? And the last thing I want to see is me producing content here on YouTube, and if someone goes out there copies what they see here, and they get hurt, okay? And that's the last thing I want. So, but yeah, I think it's great starting something small like this, okay? It's not huge, it's not gonna, it'll teach you a few really easy fundamentals of wood turning, especially turning bowls. Now 120 grit will make it pretty smooth, okay? Pretty smooth. When I hit the last grit, which is 240 grit, it'll make it actually baby smooth, very, very smooth. And that's what I want really. It's something that you pick up and you can feel it and think, okay, that's pretty, it's aesthetically pleasing. I need my words out. Oh. Okay, and the last bit. Now the last thing you want to do when actually sanding your piece is sand at a really, really high RPM. And the reason I say that is because obviously with friction, okay, it's going to heat the wood up, okay? And while heating the wood up, you could actually, if there's any little hairline fractures in the piece, and it heats up, those fractures are going to start to expand. And before you know it, you've got bowls flying apart on the lathe. So, and yeah, you'll go from this to half a bowl, okay? So it's always good to sand it. I'm only sanding at 600 RPM, no higher than that. Okay, let's put that down. Before I even think about coming in with a finish, okay? Before I think about coming in, what's some in there? Oh, it's that gammy area that I had, wasn't it? It was. See here. Well, that's disappointing. That's very disappointing, and I cannot leave it there. I cannot leave it there. again, because it'll just make sure that's basically not going to start breaking into bits, because otherwise that's just going to ruin the piece altogether. This ball's going to get a bit significantly smaller. Not there anymore. I'll feel it underneath it. I know a lot of woodturners follow me because they've seen me progress. When I first started turning, believe you me, I was making a lot of mistakes. Mistake after mistake after mistake was on that tool placement, technique. Just lots and lots of things that I shouldn't really be doing, but I got there in the end with lots of practice. Lots and lots of practice. This is definitely going to be a key ball. $48 likes, thank you so much. One thing I did realise was, when I made the video yesterday and I changed the orientation on the settings, and I tried to upload it and then came back to it and it was just sideways like this, and I was like, oh my god, don't do that again. Right, anyway, get this out. The reason why I got this out is I don't want any dust coming anywhere near that piece when I'm actually going to apply the finish, okay? The only difference is when you actually turn something in a workshop and then you have a really good tidy up and then you start turning around looking for things. Moved into your safe place. Ooh. Moved into your safe place and then you can't know where your safe place is. Isopropyl. Alcohol. Have I got a small little rag? I have. I've actually bought a spray bottle, just haven't transferred it over just yet. Turn that off. What I'm looking for is raise that grain, okay? Raise that grain. Some people apply their isopropyl or their finishes for the lathe spinning. I like to do it in still, because then I can keep an eye on where I'm actually applying it. There we are. That will evaporate in seconds. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Let's grab a finish. let's grab a finish. And the finish I'm using is tongue oil. Literally got some more finishes on the way. Got beeswax and all sorts of stuff in the workshop, but I want to try something different. I want to try some linseed oil mixed with beeswax and see what kind of finish that gives me. So, there we are, let that soak in. Let that soak in. It's only a very small piece, but it's a handy piece. Again, not turning that lathe on while it's trying to finish, because one, I'm using quite a big rag for starters, and I don't fancy anything getting caught or jammed. I'm getting all the grooves. And what I found with tongue oil, it actually gives it a beautiful shine. Beautiful shine. So when it actually sits there and people can see it and they pick it up and they're like, oh, that's nice. So it's got a nice sheen to it, if that makes sense. And here we are. Not bad. Not bad. Seen worse. $50 likes. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Okay. So again, it's a small little dish. Okay. Again, it's not the biggest bowl I've ever made, but oak is very pleasing to the eye. It's got very different grain patterns. And as you can see, see the white oak and the dark tan. And say it's, again, it'll go probably as a gift to somebody as a little key bowl, and or peanuts, whatever, really. Not going to fit much in there really, but again, it's more of a decorative piece. Is that light? It's too much, isn't it? But overall, it could have been bigger, could have been better, but again, I had a gammy area in the end grain, so but overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. I quite like it. It's a little different dish. Use it as an ashtray, but I wouldn't use a piece of oak for an ashtray. But yeah, each to their own really. You can say once it goes away, it's up to whoever wants to use it. But overall, it's the kind of stuff I like to turn. Okay, stuff that is practical. Could have been firewood, but I decided to take it out of the shed, chop it on the bandsaw, and then basically get it actually up on the lathe. So, but if you've enjoyed the live, I was going to say, don't forget to support the channel. It is free. Don't give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It does mean an awful lot to me, and you'll be notified every time I come online. So, but yeah, I'm gonna literally love yous and leave yous. I was going to say, but thank you for everyone who's joined, liked, commented, subscribed, all that shebang, and hopefully I shall see you all back in the next one. I was going to say, but I hope you all have a great week. I was going to say it's won't be on Monday, yeah, and yeah, I hope you all have a great week, and try not to work too hard. Hope it's been educational. Hope it's taught you a little something, and hopefully I'll see you all back in the next one. But thanks for watching YouTube. It's been a pleasure. Take care. See you all. Bye.